Coming up tonight, the second victim in the Freeport double shooting dies days after while in hospital. And Bahamas Power and Light defends the promised decrease in power bills by July. And later, meet the Kitchen King. Known for his creative blend of Caribbean and American food, our Danielle Miller takes us along for a taste of what's cooking. These stories and so much more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Marlena Leonard. The murder count rising to 78. This as a man was discovered in the area of the South Beach pools with gunshot wounds this afternoon. Our News was on the scene as officer in charge of the East Street South Police Station, Chief Superintendent Christopher Minus, gave this breakdown of events.
The police control room would have gotten information reference to the body of a lifeless male in the area of the South Beach pools. The police units would have responded and discovered a body of a male with multiple gunshot injuries. EMS was summoned to the scene and they declared the body lifeless. The age range of the victim appears to be from the age range of 20 years to say 25 years old.
The investigation is still in its early stages. At the time, the officer in charge couldn't confirm whether or not the victim was known to police or whether police believe this area was where the shooting occurred. The second shooting victim in the double shooting that took place at a nightclub in Grand Bahama earlier this week has died. The man was hospitalized in critical condition since the shooting on Wednesday. The first victim succumbed to his injuries just hours after the shooting. Police already have a man in custody and have seized a firearm suspected of being used in connection with this incident. And Bahamas Power and Light is defending the promised decrease in power bills by July. The guarantee came from Prime Minister Philip Davis as he defended a new energy reform laid out by the government. The plan saw the introduction of a new tariff structure reducing rates. Consumption between 0 to 200 kilowatt hours has no charge.
201 to 800 is still the 11.95 cents. 800 and above is still the 14.95 cents, and the fuel surcharge is charged over whatever your consumption is. So if you're using below 200 kilowatt hours per month, you're only paying for the cost of fuel for that usage. So the bill should have gone down.
The Prime Minister said the new reform would affect all households once implemented. However, at the end of July, many Bahamians complained that not only did they not see a reduction, in most instances, they experienced a significant increase. At the office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing, Seymour sought to explain why some people may have seen an increase instead of a reduction in power bills.
However, it is hotter, and if you are not implementing energy-saving tips, conservation measures, then you may see an increase in your overall consumption and as a result, an increase in your bill.
Meanwhile, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Min is sharing his views on a memorandum of understanding that was signed back in 2021 between the then opposition Progressive Liberal Party and the Trade Union Congress. Dr. Minnis says those who signed the MOU were hoodwinked. This after Bahamas Electrical Workers Union President Kyle Wilson accused the Davis administration of violating that agreement by leaving BPL's unions out of discussions regarding BPL's reform.
I think it was just a ploy, and one need to look and see who signed that memorandum of understanding. It was Congress. Those individuals who signed, Evans, Woods, Maynard, Ferguson, where are they now? Do they have any government jobs? Those are matters that needs to be looked into. They obviously believe the government. The PLP is not a government that one can believe, and therefore the unions, in my view, were hoodwinked. They thought they were doing the best thing for the workers at that time.
Dr. Minnis also questioning why BPL workers weren't given the opportunity to buy shares within the company.
And were they given adequate time? And why the shares would start at $50,000? That eliminates over 90% of the Bahamian population. So that in itself points out that they do not care about the Bahamians. They only want the Bahamians to pay their electricity bill so that those who are shareholders and owners of the company would continue to make more money.
Jobs for hire. The Immigration Department, along with the Labor Ministry, closely monitoring the amount and quality of workers coming into the country applying for permits. And with the economy rapidly expanding with specialty workers in demand, government says the process chosen is deliberate and meticulous. Our Joshua Williams reports.
It's no doubt over the years Bahamians have grown accustomed to working with other nationalities, all made possible by the work permit process. But what's behind the increase in applicants? NIB Minister Alfred Sayers says it's important to understand the amount of foreign workers based on industry needs.
With major projects within our country, there is a demand for additional labor to supplement the Bahamian labor force. That is a reality. So clearly, an applicant would have to pass the threshold before it comes to immigration of getting a labor certificate.
The next step, Sayers says, is a partnership with another ministry.
The Ministry of Labor has a database, and that ministry has to be satisfied that there is a paucity or there are not the readily available skills among Bahamians before it grants a labor certificate. So when the matter comes to the immigration board that I chair every week, if an application in the different areas lack a labor certificate, we send it back.
Many, including the opposition, expressing concern over foreigners taking Bahamian jobs. Sayers says this process is not that simple.
I can tell you that applications which do not have the certification of labor in the categories where, especially those areas reserved for Bahamians, those are reserved for Bahamians. And they would have to jump over a hoop in terms of satisfying the Department of Labor.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
The four-day airport conference of the Americas drawing aviation executives from around 100 airports and sectors across the UK, Latin America, the Caribbean, and the U.S. The conference, a first for the Bahamas, was held at Bahamas Resort. On the sidelines Tuesday, Aviation Director Kenneth Romer highlighted that the meeting would center on crucial discussions about safety, security, and more.
It brings together the movers and the shakers in the airport management and the aviation management ecosystem. You'll hear us speaking about very important themes such as safety and security, the whole financing of airport infrastructure, the partnerships that exist, the connectivity when it comes to airlift, airport management, of course concessionary terms and agreements. What this conference represents is that it positions the Bahamas as the regional leader when it comes to aviation.
Romer also emphasized key takeaways from the meeting that will be beneficial for our airports.
We are looking at other jurisdictions. We are certainly importing best practices, but there is something, it's an exercise in reciprocity, where we're learning from them, they're learning from us. There are some new things that we're looking about, innovation and technology, how we manage, again, our airspace. We're looking at the furnishing of our airports, concessionary agreements, funding for our airports.
When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, bringing the classroom to the workplace. A deliciously Bahamian business investing in their employees. We'll tell you how. Plus, the Grand Bahama Children's Home welcoming international partners for the second year in a row. We've got the details when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Bamboo Shack, known to be deliciously Bahamian, taking time out to educate their employees with skills like math and English taught by professionals. The latest effort is described as a unique opportunity. This as the fast food restaurant is bringing the classroom to the workplace 3 times a week. Course facilitator Simone Roll and HR director at Bamboo Shack Drew Bartlett say it's been a rewarding experience.
Both English and math skills are a necessity just for daily work, to be able to get skills and to get concepts and to be able to handle everyday activities, especially in the workplace.
We're definitely invested in our employees. Definitely with continuing education, we want to see them advance, and clearly, that also ties into the customer service, because the more knowledge you have, the more better skill sets you have, the better we can deliver to our clients.
And for those that are thinking about sharpening their skills, both teacher and students say it's never too late.
Certain things I didn't even learn until college, and I was taught that from grade 12. But it's repetition. So the more you practice it, the more you will get it.
These things, it's helpful to refresh your memories, because back in the day, some of us being out of school for a little while, so it's like coming into it, refreshing our memories.
With the rising cost of living, raising children can be costly. But imagine that cost for 28 children. Well, that's the reality for the Grand Bahama Children's Home. This past week, evangelist Hubert Min out of Orlando, Florida, along with his team, returned to the Children's Home for the second year to help provide some relief to and spend some time with the children of the home.
We have raised funds through that organization I told you earlier, yesservants.org. We are trying to raise funds to help with the food this year. We're going to do some donations for food. We also brought other items that we would like to leave. We're going to have an event here on Saturdays. We're going to do an event in the park nearby, and we're going to bring some items out there, and hopefully we can get some volunteers to sign up. That's one of the reasons we want to be here, to help, the support.
Executive Director June Hutchison says she's grateful for the continuous support and the donations.
They have come to be able to, again, share with the children, make an impact, pray for us, support us. And you'd be surprised how much just that support, to know that there are people that are out there that want to help. There's no small or large way to help, but once you have somebody backing you, you feel like, okay, I can continue to do this with the energy that he brings to the table. And so we're very glad to have he and the team, because it was one last year, and now we have several that have come with him to be able to embark upon working with the children.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, meet the chef whose unique Caribbean recipes have set the internet ablaze.
Devin Charlton ran in the 100-meter hurdles finals, and we look back at some notable Bahamian performances in Paris. Our sports weekend is up next.
Happiest, most peaceful, most congenial of all countries in the Western Hemisphere today was how the Prime Minister, Mr. Lyndon Pinding, described it. In an Eve of Independence news conference, the preacher spoke of the Bahamians as a holy nation and a peculiar people, dependent now only on God.
This update from the Paris Olympics is powered by the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
Good evening, I'm Tage Adderley, and we are back with our sports weekend. Devin Charlton ran in the finals of the 100-meter hurdles earlier this afternoon. We're going to see how she did. Charlton placed 6th in the event, finishing in a time of 12.56 seconds. She would be the only Bahamian to make it to any finals at the Olympics for Team Bahamas. The 100-meter hurdles race was hotly contested, with Devin's training partner Masai Russell taking the gold for the USA, running 12.33 seconds. Serena Sambala Mayela of the host nation, France, was hot on her heels, finishing in 12.34 seconds, and Jasmine Camacho Quinn of Puerto Rico, who was the defending Olympic champion, took the bronze in 12.36 seconds. This will be the first time since 1988 that Team Bahamas returns from an Olympic Games without a medal. Now, making it to the finals in any track and field event is an extremely difficult task, so congratulations to Devin for a strong showing throughout the Olympics. Now we're going to recap some of the notable performances from Team Bahamas over there in Paris. Things got started with our two swimmers, Lamar Taylor and Renishka Gibbs, who both were first-time Olympians and performed well in the 100 meters and 50-meter freestyle, respectively. They would pass the baton to Ken Mullings, who would finish 13th in the decathlon, the first Bahamian to ever compete in the event. Terrence Jones and Wayne McCoy both competed in the 100 meters, but failed to make it to the semis. Wayne had a second chance in the 200 meters, making it all the way to the semis. Another Olympic newcomer, Antoine Andrews, made it to the semis in the 110-meter hurdles. Charisma Taylor also had a good showing in her first Olympics, placing 15th out of 31 in the long jump, and she made it to the semis in the 100-meter hurdles. She got a personal best in both events. Congratulations to all of our Olympians. The closing ceremonies for the games is scheduled for tomorrow at 3 p.m. Bahamas time. That is a wrap for sports today. For Our Sports Weekend, I'm Tej Adderley.
Coming up, left in the rain. The call to bring your animals inside during these wet weather days. Find out why when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Welcome back to Our News. We've had days of wet weather this week, dealing with the far-reaching outer bands of Tropical Storm Debbie. And while most of us have done our best to stay inside and dry, some haven't had that option. Valentino Armely, inspector and supervisor at the Bahamas Humane Society, now calling on people to bring their pets in, or at least provide shelter for them, after receiving numerous calls this week for dogs chained outside in rainy and even flooded areas.
It's so important that to build a house, or if you don't even build a house, if you have a porch or buy a sky kennel or something, put the dog on the porch, because if you realize the weather is out there. I'm having so many complaints right now in reference to people having their dog tied outside in the water in their yard. And then, I mean, only so much I could do. I just can't go into people's yard and take the dog, but I could give them, I could call them and talk to them in reference to it. So as we see this water, this rain off and on, let's secure our animals.
Going a step further, he says there are many reasons to consider making your outside dog an inside dog.
Because they're a part of the family too. You want them to protect us, so we got to protect them. Like if someone comes in your house and they're outside just barking on that chain, they can't help you. I mean, let's be realistic. It's how you train your dog. It's how you take care of your dog. It's how you live with your dog. It's no problem with your animal living inside. Once you have your dog on next guard, spectrum, front line, whatever, to protect them from the ticks and fleas and hard guard, you don't have to worry about nothing. You take your dog out for walks certain times through the day, your dog would know, hey, this is a time for me to do what I gotta do so I can hurry up go back inside, you know? So we gotta protect our little four-legged babies.
Well, speaking of that weather, we've had a lot of on and off weather this week. As for what we can expect this weekend, meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us now from the Weather Center.
Thanks, Marlena, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Saturday evening forecast. We're currently outside our studios, mostly clear skies, lovely temperature 86, feels like forever. 95, winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Current temperatures across the country, 86 is in Freeport, also in Allenstown, in the capital, Great Albuquerque, and in Governor's Harbor, 85s in Marsh Harbor, 87 in Nicholstown, Andros. In the central Bahamas, you have 86 in Kemps Bay, Georgetown, Deadman's Key, 85 in Coburn Town, 86 also in Arthurstown, Kid Island. Continuing in the southeast Bahamas, 86 in Duncantown, Colonel Hill, and in Matthewtown, Inagua, 85 in Delectable Bay and Abrahams Bay, 87 in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. First, look now at our satellite radar imagery, where we have weak troughing across the extreme northwest Bahamas, triggering 1 or 2 showers elsewhere. High pressure dominating conditions, producing mostly fair and stable, lovely conditions. Taking a look now at the tropics, where the Hurricane Center is monitoring a tropical wave midway between the Windward Islands and the Cabo Verde Islands. This system has about a 80% chance for tropical storm development over the next several days, and it is expected to move towards the west-northwest in the area of Turks and Caicos and possibly the southeast Bahamas, according to the GFS, that's the American model, by about late Wednesday, Thursday. So we want to continue to monitor the progress of this system. Boating forecasts across the area: winds east to southeast 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet, high tide at 12:37 a.m., low tide at 6:53 a.m. tomorrow morning. The southeast Bahamas winds a bit stronger, small craft caution in effect, winds easterly 15 to 20, seas 4 to 6 feet. Taking a look now at your extended forecast, we have some afternoon showers hanging around typical summer pattern, highs getting up into the low 90s throughout the course of the week. Some showers coming back Friday, Saturday, courtesy of that tropical system expected in our vicinity. Lows are hovering in the low 80s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
And Bahamians are continuing to make their mark globally across various industries. Tonight, our Danielle Miller shines a spotlight on a chef whose unique Caribbean recipes have the internet ready to eat.
Have you ever tried plantain crust jerk chicken pizza or a cocoa bread hot chicken sandwich? I haven't, but videos from Kitchen King have me fantasizing about the unique recipes. Known for his creative blend of Caribbean and American food, Donovan Smith, better known by his social media handle Kitchen King 101, is dominating the digital space. Donovan migrated from the Bahamas to Canada several years ago with his wife and child for business reasons. With a determination to thrive in their careers, his wife Raven suggested he start a social media page.
Like 3 years ago, she was the one who was like, why you don't make, content around your food.
I showed him how to make a reel, like a video. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm not going to be doing this no more. You got to figure this out. And from then, it just is,
Up until late last year, Donovan's social media page stood at over 1,000 followers. But it was a pop-up event that would ultimately lead to his overnight success.
I did my first pop-up in November 2023, and it was a success, but still not a success where I could work for myself. So I started reposting, and I kid you not, I think I had posted 10 reels, 10 videos, 10 recipes in the summer of 2023 that didn't do well. And I reposted them in November, and each one of them did over 1 million views. My social media account grew from 1,000 followers to 20,000 by December 10th, and then by February 2024, I had 100,000 followers.
Since then, they've launched an e-cookbook, and on July 20th of this year, the Kitchen King officially opened his first storefront.
The current company that I work with now, they reached out and they're like very intrigued about, all of the innovative recipes I was doing, and in turn it led to us partnering to take over one of their locations at the fourth largest mall in Canada, which is absolutely insane. Yorkdale Mall.
The Smiths say they are beyond grateful.
The Bahamians abroad, in Toronto, they've been supporting me like crazy.
They come in there every day.
Yeah, they're so proud. It's a dream come true. I always have a full heart looking at it. When you work so hard on something and you commit yourself, and to finally see it pay off, you just feel really fulfilled.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks, Denny. Now I'm hungry. Thank you so much for joining us for Our News this weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Marlena Leonard. Have a safe and wonderful evening.